what is it, do you think, that truly keeps you grounded? Like, I feel like we're sitting here right now, and it's like I truly feel like we are just having some girl talk. Like, I don't feel like you're this big superstar as what you really are.
I don't like I am either.
See, she's humble.
Recently, I went and did an interview with Kendra Scott. So
You did?
I did.
Oh, to live the life of your shoes.
It was a 50-minute interview at a lecture series, and it was one-on-one on stage. I had never done it before. When you feel grounded is when you walk in and, you think, I'm here to interview Kendra Scott. And Kendra Scott has like this huge entourage, and she just got off her private jet to like come to this beach, right? And she's got a photographer with her and 2 makeup artists and a hairstylist. And I'm like, hi. And they're like, who did your makeup? And I'm like, me. And she was ridiculously humble too. She just gotten back from visiting her dad and doing yard work in his yard. That is one of those humbling feelings. There's always someone who is bigger, who has more people, who has more money. And so I think you have to, keep your feet on the ground. Yeah. And I think too, like my husband and my family and my faith, like they would never let me get that way. That's hilarious. Like my husband is so down to earth. There is no way that my parents would ever let me. I remember once in high school, I wanted to change my name to Kara with 2 R's and an H. Oh. For years, my dad called me Kara. And to this day, he'll still like Kara.
That's good when you tease your kids and call them names. It's building character.
Roll the intro!
Take a leap into something, and especially like when you're talking about coming here and you didn't want to come here, there's a lot of trust that has to kick in.
Well, and like the idea of what you think something is going to be and then what it is. So I think a lot of times we set unrealistic expectations. And I would tell that to anyone, is that like your idea of what it's going to be, and I don't mean to not go in with the best of feelings about something, but I just think that I think the older you get, the more you temper that, because you understand that there is just this thing called life, and it doesn't always like cater to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So WFAA wrote a bio on you. We did a little research, Kara.
Thank you. You're a good journalist.
We're trying. Too much is given, much is required, or too much is given, much is expected. And I saw that you had quoted that, and that's also something I think that my parents have instilled into me. And I think that's kind of your mindset. Tell us more about that.
Well, I just feel like I come from a very loving, secure background, which, let's be real, a lot of people don't. And so when you're already set up for success by having 2 parents, which is a true privilege, and coming from a Christian household, that is a gift. And so I didn't want to, let my parents down, but I also thought, well, you really have this opportunity to do something great. I have friends and other family that may have not come from my same background, and they have to work harder, emotionally, be able to, I guess the right way of saying it is to be all the things that God says you can be, okay? Not to quote the Army. God gives you these gifts, and he has this person that he created you to be and to meet that potential, right? It can be harder for some people to get to that point.
Yes.
For me, I felt like I was set up to get there, and I do not want to let my parents down. I don't want to let God down or myself down. And I don't have any excuse. There is no excuse for me. I don't have a sob story. I don't have that, and people do, and I don't. So it's like, okay, then you need to stand on what you were given, solid ground, and you need to launch from there. Being a reporter has made me more understanding of how good I have it. So I think sometimes, we live in this little world, and that is our world, right? And so we don't really see all the other things that are happening. And I get it, your problems are going to be your problems, and you don't have to have somebody else's problems. Like, it's still a big deal to you, right? But when you go out on stories and you meet people that live in trailer homes with holes in the floor, or you meet people with life-threatening conditions, or you meet a family member whose daughter was kidnapped. These are all people I've met in circumstances that I've been in my 20s. And so you realize not everybody lives like you. Not everybody is as blessed or as fortunate, or has been able to have the same opportunities. And so you know, suck it up, Buttercup comes to mind a little bit.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah, and that, a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
Almost 16 years in the business, a lot of perspective, reporting on a lot of not so great things, allows you to be more grateful for what you do have.
I assumed you always wanted to be a journalist.
I think there's a part of me that did, and I only say that because I'm reminded of a video clip that I did. Do you guys remember Eye to Eye with Connie Chung?
Hi, I'm Connie Chung, and we're about to see Eye to Eye.
There's a video somewhere at my parents' house
Connie
of
Chung.
me going, eye to eye.
But
But I said eye to eye with Kara Sewell. And I was like, I was interviewing my brothers. So there's a part of that that's always been there, but I was never like, I want to be a journalist, I want to do this. I just said to myself, when I graduate from school, I have to work for a living. I would like to have a job or a career that doesn't feel like a drudge every day, that feels sort of interesting, exciting, I look forward to doing. If I'm going to have to work, I want to like it.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I picked this. Like, it was a real thoughtful decision. I wish I had a better story.
I think it's a great story. I think that's great because it's real, it's honest.
I think we conflate passion with like enthusiasm, and I think we confuse the two. So like when everyone's like, follow your passion, rah, you can't always follow your passion and like make a career out of it. So that could be a great side hustle. That could be a great extracurricular activity, right? Hobby. But you do need to find a career that you are somewhat enthusiastic about. And that's kind of what I look at, you know, enthusiasm versus passion. And there's a difference there for me.
what I tell my daughters, well, granted they're 4 and 6. But
Yeah, no pressure, Mom.
but like, what kind of lifestyle are you wanting? I think they kind of go hand in hand. But there's also a side hustle. There's also some, you know, hobbies you can have on the side. And we just had a whole segment on hobbies.
Whole conversation about hobbies.
And I think that may have been something that I didn't realize. I really do enjoy traveling. My husband and I travel a lot. And what I liked about being in the news industry is that we went to different scenes every day before I was anchoring regularly. We would go to different locations and meet different people. I like to meet different people. I'm interested in what they do, what they're thinking. And that was something that I wanted as a lifestyle. I didn't realize it was going to mean I had to move all over the country for the job. But I had the flexibility and the means to do so, so I did. And I think that was also, I was open, I was flexible, I was okay. I mean, and going back to like certain steps that have been guided along the way, if you had told me, oh, you're gonna move to Ohio and you're gonna love it. I mean, I remember telling my agent, I was like, I do not want to go to Ohio. I'm not going. Just go on the job interview. Just see how it is, you know? And it ended up being amazing. But it's because I went against, you know, I went against my gut.